Greetings from the underside. Black Eye back with another dispatch. Well, lots happening. Lots and lots happening. It's all moving pretty quickly, isn't it? What have we got? Something like 8 states have had their Capitol buildings closed in the United States because of bomb threats. This crazy incident in Miami. People are saying aliens. I'm not so sure, but I've never seen what looked to be over 100 cop cars descend on a public location. The only footage of the scuffle in the mall seems to depict about 30 teenagers, clearly in 2 gangs, one dressed in black, one dressed in just average clothes. Looks like one team were out looking for a target and the other team just happened to be there. People are talking about 8 to 10 foot tall aliens. I haven't seen anything that could convince me of that. There is, however, some very strange footage of something mirage-like on the horizon on the sea, purportedly on the same day in the same location. There's a tanker ship, and then next to it there's something amorphous. It could be a mirage. It could just be an atmospheric effect. Hot weather can create optical illusions. Soaking cold. You might remember years ago there was the Chinese city in the sky illusion. Well, that's caused by when the air gets cold enough, it creates what's called total internal reflection, which is also the effect you see when you're in a swimming pool. Just under the surface, and you can't see the sky, but you can see like a chrome mirror of the surface of the water. It's called total internal reflection. It's also how fiber optics work. So it's a known photonic effect with, I guess, laminar structure. So a hot desert floor, a hot road, water, and a temperature difference. It could be hot or cold. So I'm not jumping to any conclusions, but that did look strange, and it was next to another ship. So the other ship is just a stable object, and then this thing's like a series of 5 amorphous blobs that look like connected. Okay, so that's 2 big distractions. We've got the Epstein stuff. I think people are making too big a deal out of some of it. I think a few names might go down, but they're probably sacrificial lambs. Probably no one who's critical to the operation, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do throw Bill Clinton under the bus, because the Clinton camp is still going for the brass ring when the Obama camp want it to keep in their hands, even if they have to lose Joe Biden to do it. I mean, back home here, it's a joke. Nothing particularly of note, just the usual mid-level, mid-wittery that this country's come to expect. Although I think of note, Anthony Albanese was one of the founding members of Australian Politicians for Palestine. So his backflip suggests to me that somebody's got Albo's dirt file. And my guess is it has something to do with Tony Kidman and the Epstein-style operation he was running. What else have we got to worry about? The Biden presidential campaign looks to be yet another hot poker to provoke civil conflict into civil war. What else? Calendargate is ruining conservatism. It's making libertarianism look good, which is kind of a win, but the infighting helps the enemy, so it's kind of a loss. I really wish people would get over themselves. And as much as I love a couple of the women involved, it's getting silly. I think it's time to dump Calendargate completely and move forward. Although it's a double-edged sword. It does get eyes on the issues. But it is also increasing calls for the repeal of the 19th. What else? What What else? Well, Solar Cycle 25 is kicking off. Something spectacular. We've had a couple of X-class and M-class flares, and the relevant coronal holes are now moving to the Earth-facing side of the sun. So the next few days could be fun. The geomagnetic monitoring satellites are indicating that we're approaching the 10 mega electron volt warning, and we've crossed into it. So we can expect some geomagnetic storms. There's some weird things going on with the Schumann resonances, and according to suspicious observers and others, the galactic particles are thickening in the inner atmosphere, which is a precursor to mini-nova. There's some weird stuff going on with stars. Apparently hundreds of stars are winking out, which is massively concerning. We've got CIA agents spouting about black swan events on television. And as I've said for several years now, civil war and the controlled demolition of all Western economies is part of the stated goals, if not stated methodologies, of our main enemy, which is the WEF and the people they represent. Because let's not forget, the WEF isn't the true enemy. The WEF is the PR firm for the true enemy, which is the old money. The neo-feudalists are the old feudalists. Who does neo-feudalism sound most appealing to? Well, that would be the kings. They want their divine right back. They want us to remember that we're just tax cattle. Apparently old cuckbags has come down for a visit. Who gives a shit? I've been repeating my calls to rearm this country. The Americans are restoring Pacific Island forward flight bases from the Second World War, which says to me that shit in the Pacific is about to get toasty warm. And we're far too squeamish about the realities attached to that. It'll be a bit late when the boats get here to realize that we should have never given up our right to self-defense. But you can find footage of grandmothers in Ukraine, of young men and women in Taiwan, all being armed and trained. You can find footage of Chinese school children as young as 10 in class learning how to field strip 9mm pistols. Yet we're being told nothing about preparedness. There are so many pieces moving at the moment that it's very hard to keep track of. There's the economics, the politics, the warfare, the cyber attacks, the false flags, the COINTELPRO style operations to take over subversive movements and use them as tools for the state. Everything is ramping up. So stay calm. Get prepared. Colonel McGregor has warned if things get much hotter, we could see a 52% reduction in global shipping as the basically all the chicken shit European nations in NATO are backing out of the naval side of things that secures global trade. It's all falling to the Americans are falling apart, and then we have the basic problem that I've been trying to discuss for over a year, that our modern weaponry is too complicated and expensive, and the enemy is using cheap, dirty, and effective methods, and they will bleed us dry. They have the numbers, both in manpower, and of course, cheap, quick, and dirty munitions are a lot quicker to reproduce than $100,000 missiles. Our modern methodology of warfare is completely unsustainable, and we are going to be outdone. They have the numbers, and they have a more practical approach to the warfare. We're not being told to prepare. European countries are being told, dig your bunkers, save your food, have months and weeks and months and years even of food, water, supplies. We're being conditioned that that's hoarding, that's paranoia, that's crazy prepper talk. I'm starting to think that's by design. It's not just avoiding the issue. They want us vulnerable, as if they've already made a deal about our surrender, perhaps. So, that's where things are at. Yeah, stay frosty. Peace, love, and kung fu, people. Black Eye out.